Hi, I'm Maya,
I'm Keith.
and welcome to a very delayed Geeks. You probably thought we were never going to come back. This is my fault because these past couple of months, my son's got into college and he's getting ready to go. So the whole process of college applications, I won't bore you, but it was crazy.
And it's really hard to record these things when she's in tears.
So yeah, it's great. And you might notice our different surroundings, no red couch. So we are trying something new. We're going to be back at the red couch next time. But today we needed to vacate the downstairs. So enough of that.
And we have to call it we have to call it the red couch because big comfy couch is taken.
Yeah, that's right. We can rename ourselves the Big Red Couch.
Well, that brings us up to why we've been gone. Things progress in the movie world and the comic world and the TV world.
Yeah.
But we just got back from seeing Avengers Infinity War. And so that's what we're going to talk about. And this is your last warning. We are going to be discussing spoilers in detail. So if you haven't seen it yet and don't want the details, turn off now and come back later.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, one great thing about Infinity War for me was my son loved it.
It was amazing. He was so excited through the whole movie.
And, if Keith knows, my son hasn't been a big comic book reader. He's loved the animated, the live action, all these other things. But when he was done with this, he walked out saying, "Maybe I should start reading the comics." I almost collapsed right there.
It's got me wanting to go back and read the many Infinity War and Gauntlet and everything else series. It's been a long time coming, as you see in the opening logo for Marvel Studios with 1 and a 0 for I&O. It's been 10 years since Iron Man. And everything that we've been leading to with the Tesseract and the other various gemstones has come to this. And we've got Thanos coming out and just going all out to get the rest of these things. He's got a gauntlet that'll let him control them. And he wants to kill not everybody.
Right. I mean,
exactly half of the sentient beings in the universe.
Right. Here he's a kinder, more conflicted Thanos than those of us reading the comic books would be used to. So he's given a little, he's given some sympathy, empathy for the viewer to kind of dial into his character a little bit, so we can sort of understand his
his motivation, more or less.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically his reaction to mass overpopulation of his planet,
right,
and other planets, and so that is a concern for us as well.
Right.
Having too many people and not enough resources.
It reminded me of thinning the herd. When you talk about people hunting, the deers and the all the other things, and a lot of people talk about thinning the herd. Well, this was thinning the herd, in a universe scale, and that's what he wanted to do, was to get this back to manageable size, so people could use the resources. But I found that fascinating because I was thinking about people. We do use that as an excuse to run around and kill animals, and I thought, in a sense, when he was saying that, it's like turning the tables right back on us.
Yeah, and it does make what he's saying, I don't want to say relatable, but it's something that you can follow a lot easier than, I think all life should be extinguished.
Right.
Ending with me, but starting with everybody else.
Right.
because that does come into the trope of being evil just for the sake of being evil. So this gives him some nuance. So I did like that.
Yeah, yeah. And, and I know people say, why do the villains always have to have nuance? And that's true. Not, sometimes it's just nice to have somebody just, to punch, right? But I think what they're trying to do, this just seems to be something we're seeing a lot of lately from the beginning, from Zod in Man of Steel to a lot of things that are happening, all the way to even Black Panther, of course. We need to talk about Black Panther at some point.
Yeah.
But
Vulture and Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah. So there's some underlying, method to their madness. So they're mad, and you can say, well, I understand why you want to do this, but I think you're a lunatic, and that's not the solution. So anyway, that's where we're at, and so then we can.
So we've got varying levels of appreciation for the movie.
Right.
Her son absolutely loved it. He was just bouncing in his seat through the whole thing.
I know, and he kept handing me. I wanted to trade seats with Keith. I'm like, would you like to sit in the middle of the two of us? Because it was getting a little like, stop it.
I saw that, so I was very happy with my position. But now, I did a little jumping here and there, mostly centered around Wakanda. When we first get to Wakanda, I was just absolutely going nuts.
Yes.
I love Black Panther, so...
That was great.
So I'm kind of in the middle. I enjoyed the movie. I won't say I had problems with it, but it just didn't grab me as much as I wanted it to. And then there's mine.
Yeah, so I liked it. I mean, there was nothing, wrong with it, but for me, it just felt like one big fight scene. Just go cycling through the different characters wherever they were. Titan here, wherever they were, a bunch of them, and just fighting with people who want the Infinity Stone, leading up to Thanos. And there's been a lot of complaints about Man of Steel, which I actually really, really liked, but my problem with it was too much fighting, and I felt the same way here. It was just for the sake of it, where I felt that the plot was lost. I forgot what they were fighting for. I was like, oh yeah, who has what stone now? but it wasn't. I mean, that was my, that was my issue.
Yeah, I was literally pulled out of not literally. I was pulled out of the movie when the donut spaceship crashes on Titan, because, now I can say literally, because I was literally thinking, this is the laziest type of filmmaking there is, all of these crashing of spaceships. There are things done for humor, and then there's just the spectacle of destroying the spaceship. I mean, how many times has the Enterprise been destroyed?
Right.
Just in the new movies.
Right.
It's very boring. Stop doing it. They're supposed to be able to take off and land. Let them land. Just get on with it. It's related to the non-stop fisticuffs.
Something always.
There's just too much of it. So that did bring me out of the movie. I did literally think that, and that was a problem. There were several points where they had a chance for a little drama, a little more interaction between the characters as characters that they then just dropped and didn't get into. There was a big point at the beginning of the film where Tony has the opportunity to call Steve. They haven't been talking to each other since Civil War, but Thanos is coming. Thanos is. Sorry. And we kept starting to get there, almost getting there, and then
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen. So we
And there was never a payoff for it
No.
because, I mean, okay, it doesn't work out, so eventually somebody else calls.
right.
Bruce.
Well, Bruce calls, and we don't
Off camera.
Yeah, and we don't get to see. I don't think we get to see
Yeah.
Steve and Tony talk to each other at
No,
all.
because they, you know,
They were
we
different
don't
places.
have a payoff because they never get together in this movie.
Yeah, and
We'll see it in the next movie, maybe.
yeah, maybe, but yeah, we
by
probably
that
will.
point, will they even remember?
Yeah. Well, they remember
deal
that they
with
weren't
it.
supposed to be talking to each other. That I don't understand why they didn't. That actually underscores my problem with this movie was the lack of connection to the human element to it. Where I understand the urgency because you've got to keep these stones away from Thanos, but in the middle of this, those kinds of plot points could have been, dealt with. You could have trimmed down some of the, fighting. had a couple of those scenes, and
There were a couple of scenes in the fights that, for me, I thought they should have been edited a little differently. They should have been a little more polished because some of the fights got a little confusing.
yeah, that too. It's like who are you getting there? Which character is
Who's
that?
involved in this fight?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it wasn't a big deal, but there was a little of that.
Yeah, it was just very loud, and I think that just putting in a little bit more of the human element might have been nicer, and also the quips need to be dialed down when people are dying all around you.
Yeah.
I just don't think these one-liners. That's what I had. My biggest problem with Age of Ultron was those quips. I'm like, stop it, everyone around you. Or Justice League too.
Yeah.
It was like, stop it. Don't always have to be 1, 2, 3 making a quip.
Yeah.
There's a balance between dark and light. I hate to say, but there's a balance between the two dark movies that people are complaining about and a complete comedy. And I don't think I think this one was walking on the edge of that, where I think it just too many quips.
Yeah.
Wakanda was my favorite part too.
Yeah.
Because that's when they were serious. And my favorite scene in that whole thing is when Shuri was trying to take Vision's Infinity Stone from him by keeping him alive. And she asks Bruce why they didn't do it a different way, which would have made it easier. And his answer is, because they didn't think about that. And I loved it because it was just such a,
That was wonderful.
Yeah, you're right. We should have done.
And it's not a scene they could have done with Tony.
No.
Because Tony is too arrogant.
Right.
Tony would have found some way to say, this is better, or we didn't need to, or just whatever. I mean, he would have done it in a funny manner again.
Right.
But he would have deflected. And
Yes.
I love that it was between Suri and Bruce.
Yeah.
Because Bruce was able to take a step back and said, "You're right. We didn't think of that. Gee, you're brilliant." I mean that's the implication, and beautiful scene.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was. It was a great scene, and I just wish Shuri and Peter Parker had met. That would have made me happy.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just would have liked to see the two teenagers, meet and see what that, that dynamic would have been. See, that's the problem. Everybody was off somewhere else. There should have been a point where everyone was together.
Well, I'm still hoping for that for the sequel.
Yeah, but I think in this one, when you're all when we're first bringing in everybody together, because I just felt like even though Suri with Bruce was great, it would have been great to have her with. I don't know. It was a mom thing. How are these two teenagers gonna do? Yeah. But
because they're both very exuberant.
Yeah. So,
in different ways.
In different ways.
It just would have been nice to see them interact.
That would have been natural comedy versus some of the forced stuff that I thought didn't work.
Don't lay your eggs in me.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
I think because maybe this was intentional for marketing, that word got out that an Avenger is supposed to die in the movie, rather than being legitimate rumors. I think it might have been marketing, because they spent an awful lot of the movie structure in showing, well, did this person die? Is this person about to die? Is this person going to die? And this person dies, but they're not an Avenger, so you're not off the hook, audience. It just seemed to be really manipulative, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't get pulled into it as much as I felt I should have been, the way I was expecting to and hoping to.
Yeah.
There was just too much artifice in the construction of the film.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun movie to watch. It was just, I mean, I did not agree with my son, who walks out thinking that this is, the best thing.
He said it was his favorite of the Marvel
Yeah,
movies.
I know. He says to me, "Mom, it was better than Black Panther," and I looked at him and I said, "There was nothing better than Black Panther. Black Panther was the best." And like, no. Sorry.
I am looking forward to seeing this again. So
Yeah.
so yes, do like the movie. I have
Yeah.
some caveats, but I do like the movie.
Are you going to go see it with him?
Maybe.
Yeah, you guys. I'm not going again. I'll wait. I can wait. But yeah, so that was kind of.
I would like to quickly address some of the deaths and some of the things that I was expecting to see. We had a pivotal setup at the after credit sequence in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, where we see the cocoon, which houses him, Adam Warlock.
Right.
Adam doesn't show up, and Adam is the one who initially kills Thanos in the comics.
Right.
Okay, it was 40 years ago, but still.
Geeks are geeks. This is what we.
But he's the possessor of the Soul Gem. I can see where they wind up having, once all of this is resolved in the second movie, that Adam comes in possession of the Soul Gem. But if Adam is involved in part 2, then I would have liked to have seen him show up.
Yes.
In part 1.
Yes.
We haven't seen him since the cocoon.
Right.
And I'd like to have had some continuity there.
Yes.
Especially here.
Yeah. I mean, that's again, it's like all these things, it seems like we have to wait for the second one to get a lot of the payoffs, that some of it could have been done, here. We could have, we should have at least seen them.
Yeah. And I think it's pretty obvious that anybody who dissolved at the end after Thanos used the glove, they'll be back.
Yes.
I mean, Black Panther has a sequel coming.
I know. He made $1 billion. That's what I was telling my daughter. She said, "What do you think is going to happen there?" The movie made $1 billion. You don't dissolve, and we already know Spider-Man 2 is coming out.
Yeah.
So some of these things were.
Yeah. So those aren't deaths.
No, and that made it so you don't get invested in it, because you just watch them disintegrate, and you don't feel the same kind of. Concern, because you're like, dude, your movie's coming out when?
Now, the deaths that I see that are final or are intended to be final are the Asgardians, including Loki and Heimdall.
Yes.
We warned you there were spoilers. The Vision.
Yes, Vision's Vision, I think. Or like you said.
Yeah.
He comes. They get him back online, but he's not going to be the same person.
He's not going to have the same personality.
Yes.
He'll be colder, and the emotional attachment to Wanda won't be there.
Right.
So there'll be tragedy in that.
Yes.
Gamora, physically dead, but it was through Thanos' acquisition of the Soul Gem.
Right.
So she should reside within the Soul Gem, and I think that's what the end of the movie was hinting at when Thanos confronted her as a child again.
Yes. That's what my feeling was, is that he was, when he disappeared like that, he disappeared to you know.
Yeah. He's in communication with her within the soul gem because, controlling it. If the gauntlet is completely destroyed, obviously we do have the master copy back with Thor got his axe, so we can create a new one if we need to.
Right.
And then there's, of course, there's the time gem, Doctor Strange's Eye of Agamotto, which could undo everything.
Right. Right. And
to any point. So theoretically, everybody could be resurrected.
Yes. Everybody. This could have all have never happened.
But I doubt they'll go that far. It'll just be a matter of...
I don't. Because Loki is a very popular character, so I don't... But,
true, but I think they're done with the Asgardian mythos. I don't think we'll see Thor again, as well as Captain America and true. Iron Man.
Yeah, the actors are staying, so they'll probably go.
Possibly a cameo, but not in action. I don't think we'll see them in action anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. But when he gave up the time stone, I thought, okay, whatever future permutations he saw
of the 14 million.
Yeah. So he chose the one time that they win. He must have had to do this. So,
yeah, I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
He didn't just have a weakening and save Tony.
Yeah.
At the cost of half the universe.
No.
He did mention the end game is in process.
Yeah.
So they have to let Thanos appear to win.
Right. Before
they can triumph.
Right. Right.
So,
yeah.
Which will unveil in part 2.
Yep. Exactly. So that'll unveil in part 2, and it was fun. It was fun. Yeah. I liked seeing Carol Danvers at the end. That was exciting.
That got a little squee from me.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, and, the little indicator. For those of you who aren't quite sure what we're talking about, at the end,
like my kids, who we had to explain to, and husband, he didn't know he.
The after credits sequence when Maria and Nick dissolve. Nick Fury was signaling someone, and then you see on the device the image colors a Halistar and red, gold, and blue, which are the colors of Captain Marvel. And we'll see Brie Larson next spring in her movie set in the 90s with Nick Fury. And she's coming to save the day in Infinity War 2.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. So yeah, it'll be good.
Anyway, that's our reaction and our opinions.
Yeah.
Your mileage may vary, but we definitely liked it.
Yeah, definitely. It was fun. And having my son say, I think maybe I'll read the comics, was like worth its weight in gold.
That was a good...
Yeah.
That was something good to hear.
I know. I'm looking at him. Did you hear that? And so much so he's going to go with me next weekend to Free Comic Book Day. I was telling Keith, take the bus home from Mita's there. But, so other than that, and then, the other bits and pieces of things that, we've been watching and talking to each other about has been, of course, Black Panther, which is, everything's been said about it, but we loved it. And Black Lightning. I love Black Lightning.
Best thing on TV.
Yeah, it is the best thing on TV, and the soundtrack is fantastic. And just a finale, I loved it when, if you don't watch it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm behind. I haven't watched the last episode.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Okay, then I'll be quiet. I didn't know that. Whoops.
I'm the one who hates spoilers. She lives for them.
I live for I knew it was going to happen before walking into this. Because I'm like, I can't walk into things without knowing what's going to happen. Life is stressful enough without stressing myself out this way.
Which I get. I don't agree, but I get.
I know. So good. I'm glad he did that. Because then other than that, next weekend I'm borrowing some of his Wonder Woman trades that I haven't read in a long time. So we'll talk about that next week, or not next week. I mean, let's not promise anything.
Next episode.
Next episode. That's a good way to put it. This should. I mean, we're trying to make this. You know, we may not be able to make this weekly, but we're trying to make it at least like monthly. Or something, you know, more so. Because after this finals for the kids and then graduation for my son, then things will calm down for a few months in the summer, and then we have to move him. He's moving 3,000 miles away. I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown.
We're going to try to pad things by doing a couple of episodes at once and then release them
slowly. And if that doesn't work, I don't know if that we'll have to talk about that, because I don't know if that works, because the way we talk to each other is usually very immediate.
Yeah, we tried it once and we released them both on the same day. Anyway,
yeah,
so.
Maybe we shouldn't have done that. So, but anyway, so
that's it for now. We'll see you next time.
Bye.